Okay, we're back. The next step is to style this gallery. We're not going to spend a lot of time styling it because we could spend a long time tweaking every single thing to make it beautiful. But what I want to do is just demonstrate or illustrate the 3 steps for progressively enhancing a site. One is making it work with HTML and making it functional so the links actually take us to images. The next is to make it look good with CSS. So that's what we're going to do. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to use Sass. So everything's going to look very much like CSS because Sass is CSS. It just has more. So first step is we'll just add some color to our heading. We'll set up our navigation so that it's not so close to each other. Maybe round the corners on this image, and maybe even give our paragraph a little bit of a typographic facelift. So the first thing is I'm going to create a variable, and I'll call this I'll call it main underscore color. And our main color, we'll just choose a color here. So our main color in this case will be, we'll use red. So that's a variable. That doesn't look like CSS because there's no curly braces, but that's okay. Sass understands the syntax and we'll use it as a variable. Now below, I can style my h1 tag. And I'll just give it a color of main underscore color. Now I understand that that looks like I'm typing more characters than I would normally. Where it really pays off is when you have a long CSS file and you're using a particular color over and over. Now that's really great, and you can use find and replace to change that color through a document, but that gets really tedious. In this case, if I had, let's say, 100 different instances where I'm using main color, if I wanted to change all of those to the exact same color, let's say the shade was a little bit too bright red and I wanted to make it a little less vibrant, I could just make that change once here at the top, where I'm assigning that variable, and it would change throughout my entire document. Now, that sounds like it doesn't save you that much time, but believe me, when you have a CSS file with 1,000 or more lines of code, it does save a lot of time. So here, main color, I think that's all I need to really do for my H1. For my nav tag, I'm going to style all the nav anchor tags, so not just the nav itself, but the anchor tags inside it. And I'll just give them a margin of, let's say, I think before I'll just use 1em. So there'll be a little bit of a margin there, and I'll just display inline dash block. Okay, and then finally, I'll style my, well, actually not finally, I'll style my image tag. I'm not going to go into all the vendor prefixes. I'll show you a little bit later how we can use Sass to create something called a mixin. What a mixin does is it allows you to create essentially a class with multiple different style rules in it, and then save that as a variable, and then use that variable throughout your CSS. So instead of having to type out all of the vendor prefixes for every time you want to round the corners on something, you can just use that one little import, and that saves even more time than the variables. For now, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to use the shortcut here. Put radius 0.5em. I'll give it a, let's see, padding. It should be fine. And then last, I'll style my paragraph. Now, if you remember, my paragraph has an ID of caption, so it's the only paragraph that I have on my page. I want to style it, so I really don't want to style it with the the pound sign. I want to use classes when I'm styling, so I'll give it a class. And I'll give it a class. I'll give it the same name. So that way, if I have multiple images, I can use the caption more than once. And I'll just give it okay, fine. Let's see what happens. Okay, so you can see my my nav has enough margin around it so it's not touching the picture or each other. My headings turned red. My text has changed on my caption. My borders haven't changed here. Let's see why. Border dash radius 0.5 m. I think that's good. What did I do? Let's see, image should be rounding my corners. I'll come back to that later. Let's take this off. Maybe I broke it. Okay, fine. Okay, good. So now we're all set and ready to go. We have our CSS or our SAS in place. Our appearance is a little bit cleaned up. Again, you can go nuts with this using variables. Later, I'll talk about mix-ins. Okay, we're going to end this video right here, and then we'll come back and we'll start working on the JavaScript.